Hi everyone, I'm Airier, and today we're going to check out Puffin for his new videos. This is going to be his trip to Japan, which he animated. This is parts 2 and 3. The first one is about Gachapon, which I have no idea about. I am not a Gachapon addict. And his disastrous Airbnb encounter in Tokyo. I don't want to say I'm here specifically because I want to hear the drama, but I'm going to say it anyways. I am here for the drama. I want to know just how bad that went, because that is going to be funny and probably distract myself from the cringe-pulling gotcha addiction that I definitely don't have. More importantly, you guys know the deal. There's a link below to the original video. Hit it up. Let's get started.
Continuing, my overly detailed Japan trip diary. At the beginning of the trip in Osaka, we were at a Daiso and there was a set of scissors. And Courtney was like, do we need the scissors? They're only 70 cents. And
Okay, you know what? I'm just going to fully admit it. If they were actually 70-cent scissors, I would actually take that, because, dear God, why do you always need a pair of scissors? Is that just me? If you travel, it's like, I don't need scissors. That's stupid. Who's going to ever? And then you need it every damn time for some obscenely stupid reason. This is going to be one of those stories, isn't it? They're just going to need the scissors. They're not going to get it.
I was like, nah, we don't need them. I think we're fine.
You
Our
poor
friends
fool.
in the Discord chat get a message stating, as of today's date, August 15th, at 8 p.m. and 50 minutes, I, Benjamin, hereby proclaim that we henceforth will not be needing scissors. And my girlfriend made me write this for posterity.
This entire video is just going to be her giving him helpful advice to not fuck up and miss the scissors again. And it's actually going to be helpful because I'm very much on her side. You always need the pair of scissors. If you don't bring it or don't have a Swiss Army knife with them in there, you will need them every time, every damn time. It's like that one random purchase you won't need for a decade, and then there'll just be a solid 5 days in a row where you need them every day. I'm not salty at all.
You know, when I wrote that, I was like, this is a joke which we might reference once or twice. Oh, how I wish.
Nope.
That line was
surprised.
a river that just kept on giving.
Okay, so there's a boomerangs and a random banana flying back at them. Oh my God. Well, they're in the right hemisphere for... I just realized it's a smiley face. It's literally a smiling face of boomerangs. God.
Multiple times a day, they'd be like, you know, I could remove these tags from these clothes I got if only we had a set of these tiny knives.
Yeah?
Tiny knives? Whatever could that be?
Oh, they're actually dicking him over further.
Okay, I get it. You know
what?
Scissors
no, you
are
don't.
holding us back. We don't even need them anymore. Scissors are tools of the week. Also, all the later scissors we saw were like $6, $7, $8. Eventually, I ended up buying one at a store a week later, explaining to them that I was in the scissor camp the whole time.
I'm sorry, just the eyes, the absolute dead on the inside eyes with the underlined bags. It's such a small detail, but it really does hammer home. Yeah, he gave in, and it's just beautiful. And then just like, don't care. Yeah, I understand. And absolute joy. Oh, that's actually adorable. They are useful, though.
One morning, Courtney and Alan both got these smoothies. Courtney had asked me if I wanted to get an icy blend or something, and I was like, no, because they scare me. And she was like, why? And I was like,
no, actually, I'm with her on this one. Why would an icy blend scare him? I mean, I don't like them because I'm weird. I like cold things on hot days, but also cold days. And the colder they are, the more I like them. But then when it's actually really hot, not like just hot, like 70s hot. And for everyone out there who's about to say 70s aren't hot, okay, you're probably objectively right, but I'm going to ignore that.
Like, are you kidding?
Cold things are better on cold
days. I need to get
days.
the cups filled with nothing but ice, and then I need to communicate to the 7-Eleven guy what I want, and then I have to follow instructions on the screen. I may or may not be able to read. No, I'm not doing that. Courtney and Alan did.
Wait, is he implying that there's actually 7-Eleven machines in any country anywhere that are still legible? Apparently, I've just been going all the ones that have been beat to shit. I don't care if it's in kanji or English. I can't read that shit anyways, because it's usually so scratched up and like the residue from fingers have just been built up to the point where like, you know what? I'm just going to YOLO it. You can guess how well it went by my entire thing about not wanting to trust it in general, but okay, let's just move on.
Didn't. So they got some smoothie cups. What they are is just some cups filled with fruit, and you buy them and go to the front and get them blended.
Oh,
so Alan had his thing.
Pretty cool.
Went to the front.
That's basically just a smoothie, but they have a machine doing it? Sorry, I worked in a smoothie joint and a Taco Bell. It was a weird combination place for a long time as my first job, and yeah, that's pretty general. Oh, throw in a little coconut milk and you have a really decent smoothie.
And his card and put it into the machine and hit blend. As he did so, the machine swallowed the cup, making weird, not happy sounds. We were like,
Yeah,
"Did you
those
remove
machines are
the
temperamental."
plastic lid? Was I supposed to?" In our defense, it had the same sealed lid like a boba cup, the ones that want to be punctured by straw.
Oh. Oh, so they got a plastic smoothie. I know this is probably not going to be everyone's take, but this is actually repressed memories for me right now. That is like the ultimate fear that you accidentally leave something in there and then it's just like, hey, now you get a lawsuit. Oh, God.
We eventually figured out that yes, you did in fact have to remove the plastic top beforehand. As we left
After
without
a
a
sip?
drink out of shame, I was like, told you, 100% justified. Those things scare me. Before we left to go to Japan, we were like, hey, wouldn't it be great if it wasn't so sunny when we were there? And as we said that, the monkey's paw I have in the corner
What?
curled. And when we looked at the weather report again, good news, it's not sunny. Bad news, it's because there's a typhoon. I explained to the others,
Oh, he definitely chose the absolute worst possible day. Or if he enjoys dangerous levels of surf, a great day to try surfing. I mean, you know, if you have absolutely no intention of surviving it, but other than that detail.
when I looked at the rain report, it says drop, drop, drop for today. And tomorrow it has drop, 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 drop.
Bigger drops.
And the day after that, it just shows drop, drop.
Don't.
And they're like, wow, that's serious. There's 2 whole extra drops there. Also, before we left, the other 3 in our group, Alan, Jen, and Marcos, were like, hey, you know, there's a special art promo that you get by winning a Magic the Gathering standard tournament. We kind of want that promo.
Okay, 1, I have no idea what standard is anymore for Magic the Gathering. 2, I've literally just got back into this because I finally dragged myself out. I finally got out! And then they put out the Doctor Who, said I'm such a Doctor Who fan, I got into it and I started looking at the cards like, oh, maybe I should try some of those extra ones that are in the packs, even though I literally have all of them because I bought the boxes. And I'm just sitting here going like, it begins again. This is tempting right now. This is just tempting fate. I don't want to get back into Magic any more than I am already. And this is going to draw me in. Why are you doing this, Puffin? Why are you torturing me like this in a way that I'm actually okay with because it's actually going to be fun?
And Courtney and I were like, no, no, no. And they're like, come on, it'll be fun if we just compete in the...
Wait, he was against it? Also, I've seen some of the Japanese players, man. They have no chill. Granted, I've also seen American players who have no chill, so I think that's more just Magic players in general.
tournament, we win, then we'll get this promo. I was like, no, I don't want to have to try to explain to whatever sorry's Japanese Ben I'm going to have to play against. Hey, if you guys want to do it, can you guys explain to me in Japanese?
I mean, 10, you kind of don't need that anymore. You just know the cards. I mean, in general, you can just scan them with your phone, and they have auto-translation apps at this point because they automatically just recognize the picture. That's if they brought their phones with them and they would be able to use them outside of the continental United States where I'm assuming Ben lives, in which case that might be a problem. But that is actually a thing you can do now, so he would have had access to that. Also, I might be biased because I know a lot of people who just think the Japanese version looks better, and also because the Japanese printing of Magic the Gathering is actually still good, where some of the ones printed in English legitimately have shit tier print, to the point where they're not legible sometimes, the cards curl when they're not foiled, and they're legitimately physically worse. So even if you can't read it, you actually don't need to replace the card for just breathing in its general direction. I'm exaggerating, but not by as much as should be necessary. I'm not salty. I'm not salty at all right now. I just...
Japanese, while your firebolt is on the stack, I'm going to resolve the card first and then sack him to this effect to gain 5 life. No,
Admittedly, that's pretty obvious as long as you just bring dice and they know how to play the game as well. This is kind of one of those universal languages of, oh, yeah, I get it. You don't need to understand what they're saying. You just need to see the card.
I don't think
Images.
so. And they were like, no, it's fine. We'll just kind of like wave the cards around and point, and hopefully we'll be able to figure it out.
Did they win by no one understanding what they won with?
We'll see.
Oh, no.
So, like 2 disapproving parents.
They also probably lost.
We passed by the other 3 at the train station as they left to enter the Magic Gathering.
Oh, they didn't go with them?
And then we looked at our watch and then looked at each other. Wait a second, the math doesn't check out. It takes the train ride 15 minutes, and it's gonna be farther away than that, right? Okay, whatever. We hope they're right. After they got back, 4 hours later, they told us the story. So Alan won the alternate art special edition promo Giada. And they were like, he won.
Oh, wait, alternate Giada. Was it the Secret Lair version that came out? I heard about that. I heard it's really nice art. I haven't seen it yet, so I don't actually know which one it is. Oh, unless this is an additional one on top of that. I kind of want to Google that right now. Also, I need a copy of Giada because I have an Angel deck.
Won every game that he played.
Kalia, but...
And we were like, what do you mean? Alan did not play any Magic whatsoever.
Seriously?
But yet he won the promo piece.
How?
So the story that they tell me is, first off, they did in fact arrive late. And they were allowed to enter the tournament, but they all got a first game loss. Fine. Jen with her mono red deck paired off against a Seed Shark deck, and she won. And then Marcos paired off.
A what deck? You know I'm out of Magic for a while now, and they're back in the... I don't even know what set they're in now that I think about it. And is that a Phyrexian deck versus... Okay, so we have Sharks and Phyrexia. Yeah, I've been out of Magic for a while. This just sounds weird to me.
With his Phyrexian Incubate deck and lost to a Soldier's deck, and Alan got a bye because he was the odd man out and they didn't have another player. So he just got to spend the last game twiddling his thumbs. So they gave out the Giada to a player with a perfect win-loss record, yada, yada. But there was another one which was given out as a participation award, which involved playing Gachapon against the store owner. And
oh my god, they literally won rock, paper, scissors for the special version. Oh, I'm sorry. I actually love this because I've been in places where that is the logic going down to, hey, they sent us extra, not worth sending it back. Who wants it? Decide amongst yourself and then deciding it with rock, paper, scissors. So, yeah, that actually is just, fairly stupid decisions to give away extra prizes is universal and not just an American thing.
everyone played, and Alan ended up winning it. And so that's how Alan ended up winning it.
Technically counts.
On one of the days, we were resting in the Airbnb when we heard electronic singing coming from outside, and it sounded like a truck passing by. Courtney asked me, is that an ice cream truck?
They have those?
Yeah, it is. I saw it going around the other day.
Oh.
And little Courtney, who had regressed to being a 5-year-old, shuffled down the stairs with a big smile on her face.
No. This is justified. This checks out. I completely do that. I mean, that would also involve running down the stairs, and with my athleticism, that is a death sentence. But it would be worthwhile if, that was possible. And those trucks would stick around longer than 5 seconds. Dear God, they're so fast. You just can't catch up to them. And I'm craving ice cream now. It's like 30 degrees outside. I'm craving ice cream. Yeah, it makes sense.
And her little money bag, got her shoes on, and chased after it. A moment later, she comes back saying, I didn't get any ice cream. It's a big fat lie. Turns out it was a garbage truck. The garbage truck plays a melody as it's coming around. We Google it online. Apparently, ice cream trucks are just not a thing in Japan.
Oh, that's disappointing. And really weird that the garbage truck is playing it. That is odd.
They were like, but Ben said it was an ice cream truck. And I thought, well,
maybe
I thought it might be. One of the purchases my girlfriend was very excited for in Japan was Wedge, a super huge capybara plushie, about 3 feet across.
Why didn't I watch this sooner? I could have found out about this. This is literally what my wife wants for a Christmas gift. I didn't even need to think about it. Oh my God, there's only 4 days until Christmas, and I missed the opportunity. How long ago did this come out? 2 weeks ago? Fuck, it's in the range where if I had actually seen this earlier, there would have been time to put the order in and get it. And next year. Future me, remember, next year, this is literally the best gift ever. Puffin, thank you for making the video. Damn you for not doing it sooner, and me for not seeing even sooner on top of that. This is on me. Losing husband points on this one. Although maybe I'll be lucky and she won't see this video, so I have the element of surprise still. Oh yeah. It's all according to cake.
We had a very humorous moment in the department store when I was standing in line holding up this massive capybara plush. I was getting stared at in line while I had this thing on my head. Bought it, and they needed 2 people to wrap it up like a gift, and we brought him back to the Airbnb.
That
is adorable. When we went back to the Airbnb, I was like, okay, we got
capybara poking out of the luggage.
him now. How are you going to get him home now?
Nope.
And suddenly, all the color faded from her face, and I was like,
smushing it.
You did plan on getting him home now, right? Of course I did, she said. I can just ship them home in a box. Okay. How much is the shipping for him over?
Oh, no. Oh, that's going to be expensive. I mean, it would have been legitimately worthwhile to see if the store did shipping from there directly. Much less interesting to give the gift right away, but oh no.
Overseas. She looks at the prices and is horrified. Ben, it's like over $200 just to
Admittedly, that is roughly what I feared. But also, that's why if a store offers shipping, you take it. Because unless you're really good at shrinking things down, as in like squeezing the air out in a air-sealed container, which some people travel with, not many, and those who do are weird, I'm terrified of them, but they do exist, that is much harder to do.
ship him. It's not his weight, it's his girth. He's a big boy. What we ended up doing is getting a vacuum bag, stuffing him into it, and sucking the air out to shrink him down. It worked like a charm. It was so good, in fact, that we got 3 more bags for other souvenirs, which...
Assuming he does repuff correctly, though, and that could be the dividing factor, because sometimes it works, other times it just stays down, depressed, flaccid. What are we talking about?
Didn't work because the next Airbnb we went to didn't have a vacuum that was available.
1 second.
So, talking about the stuff we saw in Osaka itself,
For some reason, my
we went to
camera's weird
Denden Town, where there was 8 card stores all next to each other. We then went to
8 card stores? Okay, 1, I've seen places that have way too many card stores. 2, I want that. I am such a geek. I would never, oh god, I would lose my entire wallet every time. It would be legitimately destroying my life because there'd be so many options. Literally, people have a pub crawl. I would have a game store crawl. It's like we do 1 game here, we do 1 game there, and 1 game there, and then if we come back to this one, we might swing back around and see what the night takes us to. Oh god, if they actually served alcohol on top of playing Magic, this would legitimately be a pub Magic crawl, and I would legitimately make a day trip to do this. Or a weekend trip, or a sleep outside and try not to get too cold trip, because it'd be so worth it after all the Magic. And then spending all the money so you don't actually have room for a hotel or profit enough to do so. I hate how, having said all of that, it still sounds like a good idea. That's on me. But it sounds fun.
To Downtonbury, which is pretty great. It was late at night and very pretty, but we had to leave early. Most of the time we went to different department stores in downtown Osaka because there was AC there. Since it was summer and a bit too hot there, there was a lot of stuff that you'd think we'd go to see but didn't because of the weather, like Osaka Castle. We skipped that. Kyoto. We skipped that. Nara. We skipped that. I think the card shopping was actually pretty cool.
I mean, yeah. But I mean, that's something you could do anywhere. Although, having gone by my previous statement, I would enjoy it anywhere as well, so I can't actually say he's making the bad choice. In fact, I still think he made the right decision. As well as, I mean, I would like to see these, but also they'd be tourist heavy. On the other hand, they're so hot. Would it be more or less of a tourist trap because of how hot it is? I don't know, but if it is a tourist trap and it's that hot, you really are just miserable.
I think there was something about shopping for cards in Japan, which I kind of missed in the US.
Oh, they'd actually sort them out still? I'm sorry, I've seen stores that do this every now and again, but it gets so overwhelming so fast because the margins are so small. If they actually had the wherewithal to do this and the time to actually sort things out... I'm having so much geek envy right now. Like, legitimately significant envy of the geek variety.
In the US, they've switched either to having online inventory, or if they do have a physical copy, you can flip through. The price is not listing on the card. A lot of times they sell it for what's called the TCG market value, which is the average that it's selling for online, and they'll sell...
Those averages are an absolute scam, because there's always one person who sold it super early for like 10 times what it's worth, and then a bunch of people who just dimed it out, and I mean literal dime-priced items because they had no idea what they're at. So the market value is all over the place. Sometimes it evens out, but that's after years of a stabilized price of people who ignore the median. Because early on, the median very much benefits the people selling it because it's like, hey, someone sold it for $150. I mean, everyone else might only be asking $250 for it, but so far that first one's really driving up the price. Pay me. Thankfully, the card shops I know aren't that bad, but I've been to a few where they very much are that bad. I didn't go back for that very reason.
Sell it to you for that price. And there's a lot of advantages to doing it this way.
It
One is they don't have to
gives
keep
more
track of an
money.
extensive inventory of cards, and two, they don't have to worry about them suddenly fluctuating up and down.
And marking the cards takes a lot of time. It's not even just the inventory right there. It's the cost-benefit analysis of, I could spend an hour marking the entire case of maybe just 100, 200, 300 cards that are worth money. But that's going to change. I'm going to be wrong. So I have to ask people what's up. And from a business standpoint, it's annoying. But it's still really frustrating for the buyer because it's like, I don't like the online aspect. But from the store, I guess margins and time are a thing. So yeah, I hate that it's actually a reasonable approach. Damn you, Ben.
Like if
Didn't need to
overnight a
have it
card
pointed
suddenly
out.
jumps in price, instead of hastily having to find out about it and adjust the numbers, they can just go, well, what's it selling for? $10? Okay, I'll give it to you for that. While when we're shopping in Airier for cards, the fact that each place has different prices does make it kind of exciting. Plus, the Japanese cards tend to be significantly lower than their English counterparts.
Really? They're cheap because there's probably not much of a market. Oh, but I'm used to American ones getting, because I'm dealing with shipping. So if you get Japanese cards here, even though the quality's better, it's more expensive, not just because of the quality, which actually isn't factored in, although it really should be, but because there's the shipping added on and they're rarer because so few people have it that there's a markup. But if they're cheaper there because there's just the factories right by, that's... That actually sounds amazing. I don't care if I can't read the card. I would actually prioritize at that point.
So in Japan, if you buy a product, you can get them tax-free, which is where you go to another counter and then just get a rebate on the tax that you had to have paid. A lot of places.
Seriously? Damn. I haven't been to a single country yet that did that. This is very tourist friendly. I mean, it might not be much, but I guess it would add up.
We'll have red signs that say tax-free area, pay here for tax-free. We were at a department store, walking over to get the tax-free rebate. We're walking past the Gachapons. Suddenly, Courtney let out a gasp. Oh my God. There was a particular gacha that she was looking for. It was the whole...
I actually know these gacha. My wife has specifically pointed them out to me before. Oh my God, I know exactly what these are. I'm judging myself on this one as much as anything else. Oh my God.
Holy Grail, the banana seal. She bought multiple blind boxes trying to find it and failed and had always regretted it. So she's like, okay, Ben, let's try. I see that.
I'm sorry, I love this, like the undertones under his eyes and just the absolute terror. And then just the manic, wide eye, super open, the rim just going, hi guys. Oh. This is just adorable. Also, yeah, my camera's really weird today. Well, that's what happens when you get a new setup.
This slightly manic glint in her eye.
Slightly?
And I am trying to keep
No, you are
between
in the way of a
Gachapons
gotcha addict
and her.
right now.
I have this sinking feeling like she's
get
not
that
gonna be
tenfold,
happy
man.
unless she leaves there with that banana seal. It costs 300 yen, or about $2 for a spin.
Damn.
So I put in my money, spin the wheel, and out comes Apple Pig. She pushes me aside.
No.
Let me try. She puts in her money, spins the wheel, and out comes
Apple Pig?
another Apple Pig.
No, we have the
sweetie,
easy rare.
She says to me, can you try one more time?
But not the super
I put
rare,
in
though.
my
so it
300
doesn't
yen
count.
and turn it, and out comes
Apple Pig?
another Apple Pig. And I was like, okay, that's it. We had our shots. We're done. I'm tapping out now. And I'm trying to temper her expectations a little bit of like, look,
no.
you know, it's going to be okay if we don't get this thing, right?
No.
And she doesn't answer me. Which,
No, you poor bastard. You have entered the range of gachapon fixation. This is a gacha addiction at its most truest form. Especially if they could see one just in those little orbs, just sitting there, mocking them, knowing it's a possibility, but that it will be the one remaining on the top the entire time, never to be theirs. Yeah, Ben, it might be cheaper just to see if there's an instant delivery Amazon option or the equivalent in Japan to have someone bring it to you right now, or better yet, tell her about the stores where you can just go and get models secondhand, because you could probably pick one of these up. And by the time you get back with it, she might still be pulling. So you're only a few $100s down the drain because they're never going to get the gacha. There might be only $100 in there, but it'll take $200 to get it. and she won't have 200. She'll have 99. And then you just know, because that's how gacha is. It's always that last one you never had. And then you definitely would have got it. And it's not a sunk cost fallacy at all.
Which I know means she's going to be here until she finally pulls out Banana Seal. But she doesn't say that. What she says is, well, wait a second. You tried twice, and I tried once, and we need to even
he's
that
actually
up
animating
now.
the sides, too.
Okay.
Nice.
Last time, she puts in her 300 yen, turns it, and out comes
Banana pig.
Lemon Hamster.
Oh, it's different.
She then goes,
That's
well,
disturbing.
wait a second. Since we got a new figurine, that means we should try again, shouldn't we? Well, hold on a second. Do we have to? Yes, we do.
It's
And
too
she
late.
then puts in another 300 yen,
It's too
turns the
late,
handle,
Ben.
and out comes Lemon Hamster again. And now I'm thinking to myself, okay, do we just have bad luck? Like, was this 100% random?
Oh, there's squishies on top of that? Okay, the pig, I think I like his jar better. The hamster is adorable, man. They actually put a lot of detail into the lemon itself. Wow. Usually when you get these, they're not that detailed. There's like a bunch of the edging that's all blurred over. It's just kind of generally yellow, kind of like up here. But they did a lot of individual detail work, including keeping the line clear. They got a really nice copy of that.
Or were the Gachapods like
And just
really not
squish it
totally
all the time.
scrambled?
Just squish it.
And I was like, this seems like
They're
it's
really
it.
not.
Anyway, let's just stop.
Ravenous
We
girlfriend.
called it. We put in 5. We didn't get the thing we want. It's random. And we're fine.
I've never done that.
She then is like, do you think we should talk to one of the workers about the Gachapons? And I was
Nope.
like, ask them what? She explained, like, we used the machine 5 times. We could just show them the number of times we tried.
And they can see how many times you got
and
paid for it.
I was on
or
the position.
got
I was like,
stuff.
oh, what are we supposed to tell them? It's Gachapods. Courtney went up to one of the workers and asked her, partly in Japanese, partly in English, like, we tried machine 5 times, banana seal. We want the banana seal. Is there a banana seal? And the worker was like, it's Gachapods. It's random. Afterwards, what Courtney explained to me was that she was trying to ask, like, can they check if there is a banana seal in there? But she didn't get the answer. Defeated, Courtney stopped putting money in.
Wow. She is more savvy than every other Gachapon addict I know. Everyone, self-included. I'll cop to that one.
Finalized the refund. It was 400 yen.
She got a refund?
She then goes, you know what? 400 yen. That's just enough for another play on that machine.
Oh.
And I was like, sweetie, please think of our plush animal children. Tater, Todd, Captain Flippers. That's their college fund. You're throwing.
Oh, yeah, because there was 2 of them. Seriously, Ben, not even joking about this. Where the hell do you find these things? I go out, I can barely find them. You're just finding all of these great giant-ass plushies, and I'm actually impressed. I will concede to your plush finding superiority and would beg for your guidance on how to find these, because this is literally husband points if I can find them. My wife might be up. She might have heard that. Just hopefully she wasn't paying attention. I might have found a problem in my plan.
Throwing away their future. They're fine. They can get sports scholarships or something. So she tried one more time, and out came Banana Seal. She did let me know afterwards, Ben, if you weren't there, I would have just kept putting money in. And I hope you know that, right? So now we had finally won our prize, bringing home Banana Seal. That's how we got him. And every day when I look at him on the mantle.
Seriously, that's the one? The lemon was cuter. Although I can completely see my wife would go gaga for this as well. It's a little derp face right there. It is a little adorable.
I always think of us standing there, throwing coins into it, until we finally found it.
And next up, after Ben has apparently survived the wrath of a gacha addict, we have a disaster Airbnb in Tokyo. I really want to find out just how bad this goes. Was it a last-minute thing, or was it we planned this out? We knew exactly what we were doing. And it failed moment. I don't know. But I just want to find out. So we're going to jump right in.
The Japan trip I went on with my girlfriend and 3 friends was broken up into 2 main segments. The first week was in Osaka, and the
they were
next week in
transferring
Tokyo.
north as they went.
We decided to just focus on those 2 cities because I'd been on trips before where you spend a lot of time traveling around, and it can be very
waste of travel time.
not fun, as you're spending most of your time physically going from one location to another. And
I'm going to say something a little controversial here. I kind of like travel time, depending on how it's done. If it's a really comfortable mode of travel, like a plane that's not too long or a train, if you can afford it, usually the same price as a plane now I think about, those can be really fun. The exception being if you're on the travel equivalent of Spirit Airlines, or God help you, Spirit Airlines. Well, if you know what I mean, I'm so sorry. And if you don't, I won't subject you to that just yet. It's better not knowing. It really is.
Not enough time just enjoying the place that you're at. We took the train up from Osaka to Tokyo,
bullet train too?
and then had a disastrous first night on
What happened?
arrival.
Oh,
Our
you spent the
story
night on the
starts
rail.
when we were weaving our way through the streets to our Airbnb,
Yeah?
our luggage clattering on the rocks off the road. Once we were nearby, we noticed that there was just some dude watching us. And I don't mean sneaking a glance at us. I mean full-on facing us, staring dead straight at our group. He was just
That's
watching us
weird.
5-10 minutes, go up and down looking for the Airbnb. We even passed him by like 5 feet when we went to our house, but he was just...
That is creepy. Maybe this is just me. Maybe that's a thing people do. Maybe in Japan, maybe anywhere. But if someone's just sitting there going, my exact expression is, okay, you're going to ask where the bodies are going to be hid next, huh? You're just waiting. We're going to see you at night with a knife and then nothing else ever again. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
standing there.
Menacingly?
The Airbnb we were going to stay at had a dirt path going up to the front.
Oh?
The house itself is one of those old wooden traditional styles. The place was overgrown with trees and vines wrapped up the side. As we're fumbling about in the front, the dude is just still watching us. He doesn't have a smile, he doesn't have a scowl.
He's basically watching the next round of idiots to get scammed, huh?
There's no emotion. We chat. Do you think he's just a curious local? I mean, we are a weird group. Maybe he's just trying to be friendly? As we go inside, I wave to him. He does not wave back. Still continues to stand there, stock still. My other two friends wave to him and give a big smile. He has no reaction whatsoever. Once we were inside, I'm thinking to myself, it's been a while since I've been in Japan. Maybe things are just culturally different here. Maybe staring isn't considered rude here. And I Google it, and the first entry which comes up is, staring is considered very rude in Japan. I'm like, okay, whatever. I tried giving him the benefit of the doubt. I started making jokes about it like, what do you mean about
Sorry, I just noticed that he's actually at the campsite that a lot of his videos ended at, and he just redrew it for the scene.
old man Wilkers? There's been no old man Wilkers who lives around here since that group of American tourists went missing all those years ago.
Oh my god.
We started making ourselves at home. As we're exploring, we noticed little issues, like
Ew.
they did some dusting, but not all of it. Also, the refrigerator had some dead bugs on the bottom shelf, and there are a bunch of black spots. Are these mold, or is this just paint plucking away? I don't want to touch it. Then we went up.
You are a much braver person than me at this point between staring strangers giving me Stephen King vibes and dead things in the refrigerator. I would nope out. I would just say, you know what? I don't need money. I'm just going to get a hotel now. No. Just no. Like, do you need a budget, or do you need to not sleep in a place where dead things are in the place where you store food? I have preferences. I'm sure they're surprising.
Upstairs. As one person after another climbed up, there was an audible gasp and a wincing. It was hotter on the top floor, like a lot hotter.
Yeah?
Now, I've been in
No airflow?
multi-story houses. I understand that heat rises, but the temperature difference between just a few feet was like staggering. Like at the bottom.
I've actually lived in an older house before, apartment with technically a second level to the apartment. I say technically because it went from AC, heat in the winter, to the top floor of, you're going to die. And I don't mean that physically. I mean that emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Because it would go down to in the negatives outside when it wasn't that cold outside, because somehow it insulated the cold inside of it. And when it got hot, it insulated the heat, so it got hotter. If it was 100 degrees outside, we were looking at, I could literally just go up there to cook breakfast, assuming I cooked. I don't, because I've tried a few times, and there's a reason I'm not allowed in the kitchen to actually make food anymore. Beyond, does the microwave hit 30 seconds? If no, it's too complicated. It's a joke. I'm allowed to take up to 40 seconds, but that's about the extent of it. So yeah, that actually makes sense with some older houses because the ventilation just keeps nothing and it saves nothing, but it tortures everything. Someone's probably thinking I'm joking. I wish I was. I really do. It was actually physically dangerous to be up there for more than a few minutes when it was hot or cold. Or just in general. Like, I couldn't store things up there either because they could legitimately catch fire or melt. I'm not even sure the fire thing is a joke. That's what I mean.
Floor was 90 or so. The top was maybe 120.
Probably
maybe
all the
above
asbestos
that.
they insulated
My
it
guess
with.
is that the top floor, there wasn't much insulation, and so that roof just baked like an oven. We
Mm-hmm.
quickly went through, checking out the top and scuttling down to the bottom floor before becoming drenched in sweat. Also, when we checked in, we got a little PDF packet of instructions, and it was like, hey, by the way, if the electricity's been having some issues, and if it goes out, here are the circuit breakers to reset the power. Now, after about an hour of
Power
settling
goes
in,
out.
everyone was in the living room discussing everything we had seen. We talked about it. Let's go from the top to the bottom of the issues we've had. There's dust everywhere. Some of the stuff is broken. The pans are rusted. One of the doors fell off. There might be...
What are the actual house doors? Are we talking like a pantry door or the physical door to the house or a room? Some of this I can explain away, but there's a lot of this going, this is a flat out scam, huh?
bugs in the refrigerator. All the storage areas look like they haven't been cleaned out. They still have bottles in them. The best way to describe it is they cleaned any of the immediately obvious areas
For
that were
pictures.
at eye level, but anything that involved opening a door or in a closet or the refrigerator did not get cleaned. My girlfriend was almost on the verge of tears. I feel like I picked us out a bad Airbnb.
Yeah, unless you went to the wrong one, but I really doubt it at this point.
I tried my best, and it has so many problems. So I'm so sad. First of all, none of these problems were on the listing. Second, these are all minor annoyances. But thinking about
No. If there's dead things in the freezer or the refrigerator, I'm going to say that's a much larger problem because it means it hasn't been cleaned in a while. So anything in there, and black spots, well, if there's black mold growing in the refrigerator, this is a legitimately get out of there problem because there's probably other things that have black mold growing in there. Because black mold in a refrigerator that is powered is not nearly as common as everywhere else.
it, they're not actually that big of a deal.
Really?
The dust is a problem.
The
but,
broken door?
It's not the end of the world. Rusted pans, we won't use them. Old furniture, we wouldn't use it normally. Like, nothing here is a deal breaker yet.
Really?
And we thought about
what
the
was the
circuit
deal
breaker
breaker?
issue. We had a little debate about, hey, like, how worried should we be about that?
Probably.
Is it a problem? It technically
Definitely.
hasn't done anything yet. The conclusion we came to is the dirt, the dust, the rust were weird, but they weren't deal breakers. Like, we'll just take some photos, be like, hey, found some problems, we didn't like it, and just
Is the guy going to be one of those people who immediately just gets mad at you for pointing out his obvious scam? I don't know.
let the host know. But with the electricity, if the power goes out, that would be a deal breaker. And I was like, well, I guess our deal breaker is going to be the
It breaks immediately after they come to this conclusion, doesn't it?
circuit breaker.
How many
Okay.
minutes? Within the hour?
All right, well then. There's no way we could live in this house without the power. So we went around taking photos, and not literally 5 minutes after we had that conversation.
5 minutes? Oh,
we
faster than
heard
I thought, but also slower.
powering down as we were plunged into darkness, and the power in the entire building went out. Okay, I'm past the breaking point now. Our reasoning was like, we aren't running that many things. Like, we had some lights, AC, the TV on, yeah, sure. But this place is supposed to be billed as an 11-person house. We're 5 people.
11 person. I mean, is it 11 people if all of them are just sleeping constantly and you're not actually supposed to do anything in here? If they're incandescent lights, that might maybe matter. I don't even think it would matter that much. LEDs barely draw at all. Air conditioning is a huge draw, and I guess if the house is that fucked up, that's one thing. But the thing is, and this is not what most people realize, older power systems had more capacity because things were less efficient. My current house has less actual power running to it than the apartment I lived in for years, because the apartment I lived in for years was built in the 1800s and it was added in when everything took all the electricity, and who cares about if it causes a fire? Legitimately, it didn't, because the house was completely coated in asbestos. I never touched the walls because it would be a legitimate problem. Never touched anything, never hammered anything. Every time I went in there and someone was going to do that, I was like, you know what? Hey, let's just not. And I didn't, and it was great. But that would be a problem. Current house? Not like that. Much newer, as in not built in the 1800s. So it's a very small bar. But power is easier in older houses. So if this is an older house, it might actually have more power, which means it's just fucked up. More than it should be.
Not only that, but we're not running like the laundry or a dryer. Like,
oh, it
this
would
is bad.
explode if
like,
you tried
we're
that.
Planning on running more stuff tomorrow.
It's like someone forgot to
We
pay.
threw the breaker and the power in the entire house came back. The group had shifted into problem-solving mode. Okay, we probably need to contact Airbnb support about this and see if they can help us out or give us some more information. The general consensus...
I'm going with the general consensus here is, you fucked. And when there is eventually a class action lawsuit, make sure to get your name in it. Because previous statement of, you fucked.
now was, we're going to go as soon as we can. We're like, we can't stay here a week. So we wrote to
Oh, this wasn't just a one-night stay. This was a week? Yeah, this is where you just pull your resources and try to do anything else for safety reasons.
our hosts. We wrote to Airbnb. Mainly we were talking to Airbnb because it was like, what are the hosts going to do? They were talking about sending someone out one of these days to do the cleaning. But what about the power? You're telling me they're going to somehow rewire the power later this week? Besides, we need a place to stay tonight. After 2 hours of being on the phone, talking to Airbnb, they looked through our info. They did agree with us that the place was in a bad state, and they said we could leave and would get issued a refund. And we asked them what we should do. Like, would they be able to book us another place? It's 8 o'clock at night. If we submit an order, can they confirm it? Like, we need a place tonight.
I mean, technically, one of the best options might be to go to a love hotel because, frankly, I only know this from wacky weekend trips on both CDawg VA's channel and Abroad in Japan's channel. Those are actually really fascinating in a lot of places because they're built to be destinations, but also you can stay them overnight and it's not actually any worse price-wise. Maybe a little more expensive, but doable. Sometimes. Other times, it's the equivalent of what they're in right now. And then they can just get a regular hotel after that because booking it a couple days out might just give them leeway, and staying in the other type of hotel prior to that might be enough. I'm going to go with how this video is going. They're not going to be allowed to leave because there's literally no other options. Like, hey, want to try being homeless for a week? That might be the other option.
And Airbnb on the other end of the phone was like, yeah, you could probably do that. And we realized, oh shit, we're on our own.
Yeah.
Because they were using expressions like, that is a thing you could do, or, that it is possible to do that.
And then if you did that, they would still have to maybe compensate you because you didn't actually leave. No, wait, no, back it up. If you left, they wouldn't have to compensate you. In fact, they probably like this option, but they also know they're not going to say you can because it's probably not going to happen.
And we realized they're not going to help us.
And also because they'd probably have to book them someplace that's not Airbnb, so they would just lose the money flat out.
We're on our own now.
Yeah.
So we contacted several Airbnbs specifying, are you available now? It is 8 o'clock. We need to book it right now. Our group found a place that would take us tonight.
Oh, they
booked
did?
It and took a train out somewhere else. It was around 9:30 p.m.
Oh, no.
when we were making ourselves at home at our new place.
Did the power go out?
We didn't quite get a refund. What we got was an exchange voucher later that had an expiration date, but couldn't use it on the place we just booked because we had booked it the previous night. So that put us in a weird spot where it's like, okay, so that means we have to go on another trip soon and use Airbnb to spend it.
Yeah, this is literally entering lawsuit territory. I hope he kept the information for this because this is probably going to come up in a class action lawsuit at some time. Maybe. Probably against Airbnb, if not the people doing it, just because that level of bullshittery and the kind of bait and switch sometimes does come up. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if someone just went in the comments like, oh yeah, by the way, there's a lawsuit online. You can find it right now. Because, well, if you haven't checked, they have websites that just have all the class action lawsuits you can file. And they all look like a scam. As in, the people designing it do not know how to design websites. You go to these websites where you can sign up 4 class action lawsuits that do actually exist and are real and are completely legitimate. And it looks like you went to something designed in the 70s and probably before that, when coding was still being invented, and the idea of having a green background with white letters is perfectly all right. And I don't mean images on top of that. I mean, just that is the entire design right there. Green background, white letters. They are legitimately horrible, and they're so bad, people think they're a scam. Which also does mean that since so few people go for them, that you get more money if you do, because there's less people to draw from the pool of money. So it might be intentional.
Doesn't really feel like a refund, but whatever. At
It
least
really
it's
isn't.
all sorted out.
Is
The
it?
next day, we actually had some time to explore and look around. The spot we had picked is kind of in the K-Town area, with dozens of Korean restaurants within walking distance. So yeah, we spent the next week in Tokyo just kind of exploring around. My girlfriend and Jen really enjoyed going to the clothing store to look at all the different dresses and skirts. Looking, not buying. Because one of the problems we ran into were size issues. Because the average size in most Japanese stores is just way too small. For me, even in the US, I'm like a 2XL. I was like, if you guys are having a hard time, there's no way I'll be able to find anything. We did get turned away from a store once because the clerk just flat out told us, look, we don't have anything in your size, as we were checking out the items because they didn't want to have to break it to us later.
Admittedly, good on the clerk for taking the initiative to let them know in advance. Because it'd be a lot worse if they had to go through this like, oh, look at all this great stuff that we legitimately cannot have in any way, shape, or form. Yeah. That would actually suck.
At the Tokyo Airbnb, all of the awnings and doorways were under 6 feet tall, so I kept bumming my head or waddling around and ducking to make sure I didn't hit anything. It was actually kind of frustrating. I found myself bumming my head a lot in Japan, and it really was becoming concerning. My short friends were like, well, hey, I can finally reach the top shelf of the cupboards.
I just realized why my wife wants to visit Japan. She is, to put it bluntly, fun-sized. To put it less delicately, she breaks 100 pounds if she goes out in a fur coat and then drenches the fur coat in water. Yeah. She's adorable, though.
And it makes me realize, I don't know why in the US they have the cupboards like 8 feet up. Also, I'm just going to say it right now. Being tall is a goddamn scam. Okay, yes, I can reach the top shelf, and yes, in basketball, I could just keep throwing the ball and recatching it while my shorter friends flailed away helplessly at my ankles.
Yep.
But let me tell you, the trade-off is really not that great. Chairs don't fit, having back pain, plane seats don't fit me, clothes are too small.
I mean, the plane one isn't just you. It's literally everyone. They're designed that if you're a toddler, you're the correct size, and anything else is going to be wrong. And God help you if you fly Spirit. I keep bringing up Spirit Airlines. And I'm going to keep doing it because fuck them.
But everyone's like, oh, it's so great, you're tall, it must be nice. Well, I love my height. There's a lot of downsides that come with it that people just don't talk about. Thinking some more about after writing this script, about the older gentleman we saw in Tokyo, and the weird way he acted, I have a theory.
That he was the owner?
That sometimes, if you're someone who meets a foreigner and you want to interact with them, but you don't know the words to say, it was kind of like his way of interacting with us by standing really close and staring at us, very obviously, just to be like, hey, I'm here. I see you.
See, he says that, but I'm thinking, you probably just met the owner, and he's an asshole.
Well, at least that was my theory until I remembered him not waving back at us, and I was like, fuck it, I don't know. Maybe he's just a weird guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, we had a lot of fun in Tokyo, trying out the local foods and exploring department stores. The week went by quite fast, and by the time it was Friday, we were splitting up to go home.
Aww.
As we headed back, Jen and Alan split up from the trip, so that way they stopped in Honolulu and had some time to explore before continuing on.
Oh, yeah, you could take a layover in Honolulu, because it would be the halfway mark. Maybe not the fastest, but if there's a way to book that. Hell, I mean, taking a 12-hour layover there is definitely just something you have to do to accommodate the travel. Not a great way to go to Hawaii and then essentially have your hotel already booked because it's literally the one flying you back home. That is kind of brilliant. Like, unironically, it just adds to the trip at that point. And you don't even need to worry about a hotel because you already have the plane. As long as you book enough time to then get back to the airport, do all that. If anything, a 24-hour might be better, but then you need a hotel as well. it seems like if there's a way to really make sure it's all on time and it's not a peak season, that is the absolute best way to do it. That seems kind of amazing. Especially if you can get there early in the day, leave later at night, spend the entire day there, not worry about anything else. I'm talking myself into something I definitely can't afford. But damn, does it sound good.
So that was our Japan trip. Hope you guys enjoyed listening to the stories. I have a few more I might want to add later, but these 3 videos were just the friends trip I did over the summer. Anyway, Japan's great. One of the things I really appreciate is that because of the rail networks, it's very welcoming to foreign tourists because you don't have to worry about rental cars and international license and navigating through traffic.
Oh God, I hate traveling in foreign countries just because I have enough trouble driving in America in places that have no population density. If I had to go someplace where actual people drove normally, I would just be sitting here going, no thanks, I'll just go drive into that nearest wall. It'll be faster that way.
If you're in a U.S. city, you're kind of going to spend most of the time kind of Ubering around.
Yeah, not worth it.
Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you. See you next time. Goodbye.
I'm a little disappointed that there are only 3 parts to this series because I kind of like the format Ben's doing right now. I have a personal weakness for travel videos. I'm the kind of guy who binge watched every freaking season of No Reservation with Anthony Bourdain and developed a massive love of travel, even if I could never do it myself, because I just like the idea of seeing new things and people's interpretations of them. This is really cool. And Ben is doing something that I love. One, seeing about people's interpretation of travel, and then also his animation and storytelling, because I like both those together and they're combined. And just, am I the only person out there who's thinking, hey, maybe he should do more of these? I don't know. I don't know how well these videos did. I hope they did great because I love if he just got a great reason to go to places and then do his own little videos animating his entire experience there, because I like this kind of stuff. But again, I'm biased. I geek out on travel stuff so damn hard. Which, I mean, it probably doesn't really surprise anyone considering this entire channel is, hey, here's things I geek out over. And I stand by it because, again, it's fun. I like it. Either way, though, if you haven't already, there's a link below to the original video. Hit it up. And if for any reason there's any Puffin Forest videos I just happen to miss, let me know. That would be awesome to check out because more of his stuff. He does good stuff. I like it. Didn't realize he was so tall, though. Kind of jealous. On the other hand, short king status is pretty nice because my wife is still short enough that I feel tall by comparison. See, I'm very lucky she didn't hear me say that because I would definitely have to apologize for that. Nope, scratch that. She will definitely have someone point out this video to her, and so unless I edit it out, I will definitely have to apologize to her regardless. Oh God, she probably just heard me. Yeah, she definitely heard me. I am in trouble. Okay, well, I need to go bribe my wife with sweets. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you guys in the next one when I hopefully definitely survive to do that. Adios.